we're going to continue our work with unnecessary commas with this handout that has 10 example sentences. So let's begin, of course, with number 1, and we'll locate the unnecessary comma in each sentence. Now, if you chose this as the unnecessary comma, you're correct. And the reason we want to take that comma out is because the word can functions as a helping verb here. And if you look in our course material at the list of helping and linking verbs, you'll see that can is listed as a helping verb, and we don't put commas before helping verbs. And number 2, if you chose this as unnecessary, good for you, because as functions as a subordinate conjunction. Look in our course material at the list of subordinate conjunctions. You'll find as listed there, and we don't put commas before subordinate conjunctions. Now, for number 3, the incorrect comma, unnecessary comma, is right here. The reason we don't want that comma there is because to put a comma before a conjunction, we need to have independent clauses on both sides of the conjunction. So we have to have complete sentences here and here. You cannot walk up to somebody and say, "her need to be saved." That's obviously an incomplete sentence, and that tells us to leave the comma out for the conjunction. Number 4, if you chose this, you made the correct decision for a couple of reasons. It can be looked at as a preposition, and most of the time before prepositions we run straight through without punctuation. But even more importantly, it functions as a subordinate conjunction. It too is on the list of subordinate conjunctions, and so we don't put commas before subordinate conjunctions. Number 5, the unnecessary comma. Once again, we have to have complete sentences on both sides of the conjunction, and after the conjunction and, we do not have a complete sentence. So that tells us to leave the comma out. Number 6, which is the incorrect comma? Here, here, somewhere else? Well, it's going to be right here. And the reason for that is, okay, for is a conjunction. So let's look at it this way. Do we have a complete sentence here? Sure. If you walk up to someone and say that, it makes sense. Do we have a complete sentence here? Absolutely. So we do need the comma before the conjunction, but there really is no reason to have a comma after the conjunction. So we need to get rid of this comma right here after the conjunction for. That's the unnecessary comma. Number 7. The unnecessary comma is here, and this is for the same reason that we've seen a couple of times already. What follows the conjunction and, right here, is not an independent clause, not a complete sentence, so that tells us to leave the comma out. All right, here we go for number 8, and that is the incorrect comma, because they aren't two descriptive words. Another way to look at this makes things pretty clear, I think, is if you look at this, though Caithness doesn't have the extensive training that many of the other tributes have, dependent clause. Here, we have an independent clause. So we have this comma right here joining two different clause types. And that's one of the correct ways we use commas. But there's simply no reason to have one after compassion. Okay. Number 9. The incorrect comma is here. We use commas. One of the ways we correctly use commas is to join two different clause types. Never two clause types that are the same. So let's look on both sides of the comma and see what kinds of clauses we have. Well, obviously that's not a complete sentence, so it's an independent clause, a dependent clause, excuse me. And if you read that whole thing in its entirety, that too is a dependent clause. So we wouldn't separate those two clauses with a comma. So the comma after remains is the incorrect comma. Number 10, the incorrect comma is right here. So why is that incorrect? All right, what we have here, I'm going to highlight parts of the sentence. Everything up to here, actually everything up to here, and all the rest of the sentence. So, like Bella is functioning here like a non-restrictive clause. In other words, it's just extra information. It's nice to have, but it doesn't, having it there or not, doesn't affect our understanding of the sentence. Because if you read everything right there, Katniss proves to be the type of protagonist who will continue to win fans and whom we will continue to see in young adult literature. That's fine. The fact that she's like Bella, that is a non-restrictive clause, so we would offset it with commas here and here. So in other words, there's just no reason to have a comma here after protagonist. That brings us through 1 through 10 on our second comma exercise, and I hope you found this useful. Thank you.